everyone, welcome to Eden's Secret again, keeping you all company and keeping you entertained during the lockdown. So today we're making some Snow Fairy donuts with the bath bomb press, and I'm just screwing on the parts to the bath bomb press now. There's 3 parts to this mould. It's all made from aluminium, and then this part drops into there like so, and it has the same shape as the bottom, just in case you haven't seen me press any of these before. Right, so I've just got a bit of soap that seems to have appeared on there out of nowhere. So over here I've just laid out some kitchen roll, and that's what I'm going to place my bath bombs on when I've finished pressing them. The first time I tried this, I did actually just put them straight onto the countertop, and they stuck a little bit, and they do stick to the kitchen roll. I guess it depends what type of kitchen roll you use as to whether it peels off well or not, but this is the Plenty kitchen roll. That's the brand, Plenty, and it peels straight off the back when the bath bombs are dry. Okay, alright, let me know if you prefer to see me pressing bath bombs from this side rather than from the left hand side of the press. We'll do it this way today, and if you can all let me know in the comments below what you think. So I've got my bicarb, my colour, which is Orange 220Q from Mineral Makeup Ingredients. I'm using Snow Fairy fragrance today. And I've also got my Witch Hazel, my Carrier Oil. I've already mentioned my fragrance. I've got my SLSA in here, and if you want to see the recipe that I'm using, which I've when you buy a bath bomb press, they do send a recipe, and I really think it's so important to stick to that recipe. You try to go over and under with certain things, and then you end up coming back to the recipe again, and I have tweaked the recipe just a little bit, and if you want to see that recipe, you will see it in, if you click the information button at the top left hand of the screen right now, no, top right hand, sorry, top right hand of the screen now, that'll take you straight to another bath bomb video that I did recently that's actually got the recipe in there. One good thing I noticed about actually measuring ingredients, instead of making bath bombs with 2 cups of bicarb and 1 cup of citric and 1 this, 1 that, is that citric acid weighs differently to bicarb. Sorry, I'm going to sneeze because I haven't got my mask on. I should have my mask on, but because I'm doing a video, you won't be able to hear us properly if I've got a mask on. So I haven't got a mask on. Now, I also noticed that for the press, mixing the citric acid in at the end, after everything's mixed in together, it works a lot better in the press if you leave it in your mixer. So mix all your ingredients except for the citric acid, mix all of that in your mixer, then add the citric acid into your mixer. I'm not doing that here because it's just for the purposes of the video, but you'll feel that once the mixture is really trying to bind together on its own, without you even pressing it, it's ready. That's at least what I've found. If you don't mix it in long enough, it doesn't seem to press correctly. And again, with everything, whether you're making soap or bath bombs or anything at all, it seems to be slightly different for all of us, depending on where you are in the world. I know that's something I say constantly over and over again, but I'm just thinking of people that are new and are watching the videos for the first time. This might be the first video of mine they've ever seen, so that's why I'm bringing that up. So I'm gonna let another tip I've got is I'm gonna let this sit for a little while. It seems again to press better with the bath bomb press when you let your mixture sit for a little while. So I'm gonna leave that for 5 minutes, and then we'll come back and start pressing some bath bombs, shall we? Okay, so what I was saying before about the citric acid, it's actually lighter than bicarb, and I only noticed that when I started weighing out my ingredients to use for the bath bomb press. It takes, say, 5.5 cups of bicarb, but it takes 6.5 cups of citric acid. So there's more citric than there is well, there isn't more citric than there is bicarb in your mix, because you do, I always do 2,400 grams of bicarb and 1,150. What am I saying? What I am definitely saying is that citric acid is definitely lighter than bicarb. Anyway, if you want to try that, just have a go at weighing some and you'll see. Now, this morning I was watching the Soaping 101 channel, and there was a brilliant video of different soap makers telling everyone what their favourite tool was to use. And Brandy McClure, is it McClure or McClurg? Yeah, Brandy McClurg, her favourite tool for making bath bombs is this. And it's when you press them into the mould, you do get a few crumbs around the top. Now, I'm not 100% sure that happens with the donut, but it definitely happens when I'm pressing round bath bombs. So if I get any, I'll show you exactly what she suggested we do, and I thought it was brilliant. So when I'm doing the donuts, I always weigh them, because it's amazing how different you can get the measurement if you don't weigh them. So I'm just gonna try with 200 grams there. And this will probably make a more neat sized donut. Right, I even forgot to, yeah, it's up there. I forgot to squeeze. Well, this one's really, really neat, but sometimes you get crumbs, and she said these are brilliant. These silicone brushes are brilliant for getting all the crumbs off around the satin ring. So I thought, yeah, fantastic. I'm going to redo that because I've actually managed to leave. I forgot to press the hole here in the center, and because I didn't press a hole in this donut mold, it always collects and sticks in the center there. So I'm just going to poke it out. screw it back on. I'm just showing you this because it might happen to you. I had no idea you needed to poke a hole in the centre of the mould, and the lovely Ariane from La Fille de la Mer, she was kind enough to tell me what I was doing wrong. And now I think it needs washing because it does not want to go on there, so I'm just going to give it a wash. So here we've got, that's what I'm doing with the donuts. I'm just popping them on there. And let's continue pressing. If you don't make many bath bombs, then I really don't think there's any need to buy a press unless you want really neat bath bombs. That's the brilliant thing about the press, is how beautifully neat they are. And I'll put a link to the bath bomb press in the description box below. Now, something's happened to this bath bomb. It's cracked, you see. So I'm just going to scoop that back into the bowl and check. Yeah, the hole's clear. Just start again. Don't know what happened there. That hasn't happened before. And it's okay to press the mixture down a bit. Alright, will that do for the pressing of them now? Right, it's now time to paint. So I've got my fantastic, I use them for all kinds of things, but today we're using them for painting. I'm just using 2 colours, so I only need 2. We're using some rubbing alcohol today. This one is from Soap Supplier. I wonder if I should weigh it and then you know exactly how much I'm adding. About 7 grams, so I'll add 7 grams to the other bowl as well. I got these from IKEA. Whenever I show them, people always ask where I got them from, but I don't think they sell them anymore. They do have like a glass version. And then now we'll pop the mica in there. I guess guess I should weigh the mica as well, so you literally know exactly what I'm doing. Right, I'm going to tear that, and I'm using Fiery Fusion from youmakeitup.com. I always like to put about half a heaped teaspoonful in, which is 2 grams. I might take it up to 3 because I like it. No, it hasn't budged, it's still on 2, and I'm not going to add any more because it'll be far too much. And also Enchanted Forest from youmakeitup.com. I guess for something like this you need like a micro scale, micro scale, but I haven't got one of those. And then I've got 2 brushes here. This one is like a flat end, and it's always been pretty good for doing a flower shape because of the shape of the end, but it's getting a bit out of control now. So I'm just going to mix in the mica into the rubbing alcohol. And then the other brush I've got is just a very fine pointed end. And that makes a nice fine streak of a design. So I'm going to start by doing the flowers first. Oops, I forgot, the donuts stick to the kitchen roll, which is what I told you it would do. And I just drain off. Can you see what I'm doing with the paintbrush? No. I just mix it in, make sure all the bottom's mixed in, and then I drain it off on the side, and that's what makes sure you don't get any dribbles. And then I just dab it. Yeah, it's a bit out of control, this brush. I'm not happy with it. It's really not working the way I want it to. So it's just untidy, so I think I'll get another brush and try with that one. I think that one's too big. I'll need to find a new brush that's going to make a flower design, because that is very untidy. So we'll have a go with this one. It hasn't got a flat end, it's got a pointed one, but the only other flat-ended ones I've got are too big. I think we need the camera in a different position. In a different position, because it's a bit awkward painting these on like this. I'm actually thinking now I might be better off with a thicker brush and just do it directly down on the top like that. So let's try another one. There we are. So that's the difference in the size of them. That's what happens if you don't drain it properly. Sorry, I'm a bit croaky today. So, not perfect, but the next one will be better. The first one's never as good. I'm so sorry about the croaking. I feel like I need to have a good cough and splutter. It's not working, it's not coming out. It's gorgeous, that forest green, isn't it? So does that one look better than that one? I think so. It's very tropical looking, isn't it? Now, when you're unmoulding the bath bombs from the bath bomb press and leaving them out like this, they dry out so fast. And that's the other brilliant thing with it. Literally just a few hours later you can paint on, but if you paint on them straight away you'll end up with a swelling on the it will actually make the bath bomb fizz a bit, so you'll end up with a raised mica design, which is not horrible. It's actually quite nice. I did that on my hearts. I put the mica on far too early, but I actually really liked it because it just gave a different texture and height. Gosh, this is the worst my throat has been to do a video. I'm gonna have to turn off and try and have a good cough. I think I'm alright now. I definitely sound better. I can't really often do more than 2 or 3 strokes at once without having to re-dip the brush. Here we go again. And the noise you can hear in the background, Declan's, just in case you don't know, he's really, really into aircraft. So he has the radios and everything. Absolutely everything, so you can hear what's going on and who's where and who's flying what and who's coming over. So that's what the noise is in the background. I think it's air traffic control. So if you just leave your mica and rubbing alcohol, when you finish with it, just leave it in the container. All the alcohol will, what do you call it? Dissolve? Evaporate! It'll all evaporate and you'll be just left with your mica back to how it was when you added it to your container. And these are what the donuts look like now. So you can see this was the first one I did, and then each one has just got neater the more practice you get, the better they look. Alright everyone, thanks so much for watching. I hope you're all staying safe and keeping happy and you're well fed and you're nice and warm. And again, I just want to thank everybody who is having to go out to work to look after us all. Have a fantastic day until the next.